Christina, how do I get more engagement on my posts? Why are people not reacting on my stories? How can I beat the algorithm? At what time should I post on Instagram? These are questions I'm being asked very often. Today, once and for all, I'll share my answers and I'll brainwash you a little bit in all the positive ways. Okay, let's start by answering the questions I just mentioned very quickly. How do I get more engagement on my posts? Create more engaging content. Why are people not reacting on my stories? Because your stories don't channel something in people. How can I beat the algorithm? Why would you want to beat an algorithm? Has it done something to you? At what time should I post on Instagram? You should post on Instagram when your community is online. And now that I answered your questions, I actually have a small question for you. Have you ever asked yourself one of these questions or even a couple of them? Write it in the comments below. Okay, let's be honest, these answers were very short, so let's take a closer look onto them. You get more engagement on your posts by creating more engaging posts. That means you want to have content that does something for the reader. You want to make them feel something. And how do you get people to feel something? You could, for example, say something that's going to be like a harsh truth to them, so something they have been avoiding to really realize for themselves, but it could also be just words of encouragement, for example. There are tons of ways to make people feel something. Use them. Also, if you want people to not only feel engaged, but actually engage with your posts, you want to add a call to action. That could be a question, that could be to tell them to share the post in their story if you liked it, and so on. Again, there are tons of ways to do that as well. At the same time, I want you to keep in mind that it is more important if you want to sign clients to make people feel something than to get them to do something after they felt it. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter so much for you if person X felt amazing by reading your post and they took something from it, but they don't comment. It doesn't harm you because that person still felt something and they're going to associate that feeling with your account. If you continuously put out content that person X loves, even if they don't comment on it or react on it at all, the time that they're looking to hire someone that is in your field, they're most likely going to think of you and work with you. So don't get upset if people don't always comment on your posts or react on your stories. You just want to make sure that you know your target audience and you're creating top-notch content for that exact group of people. If you are running a business, you care about the number of clients, not about the number of comments on your last post, right? Seriously, clients can seemingly come out of nowhere just because they've never interacted with the content much. They still saw it though, and they're convinced that you're a great person, you know what you're doing, so they're gonna work with you. What I've learned is that people are different. Some people are just much more likely to comment on a piece of content that they saw and liked, while other people kind of just read it, they like it, but still they won't comment, but take that piece of content and think about it on their own. You can be sure though, the more engaging your content is, the more people will engage with it. So focus on providing value, focus on making people feel something. The same goes for IG stories, by the way. Oh, and let's also talk about the Instagram algorithm really quickly. You don't need to beat the Instagram algorithm. The Instagram algorithm actually works for you. I know this may be hard to believe for some, and it might be some harsh, painful truth if your engagement has been going down for some time. Here's the thing with the Instagram algorithm. Based on past behavior, the Instagram algorithm determines what to show you and other users. So in that regard, it helps you if people are engaging with your content more than just reading it. The more they engage with your content, the more likely it is that they will also see your content in the future. And if they're continuously going to see your content in the future, they're more likely to work with you eventually. But only if your content is great. And there we are again with creating great content. It is really the base of everything. You can have an amazing product, you can have an amazing service and really be the best in your field. If you don't know how to communicate this through great content, you're not gaining anything. Same goes with when to post on Instagram. Yes, according to Instagram, timeliness does play a role in the algorithm, but I think we've all been there where we got shown a photo that was 2 or 3 days old in our homepage. So timeliness isn't everything. So generally a good time to post is when your audience is the most active. There is not a specific time that works for everybody. For example, a stay-at-home mom checks Instagram at very different times than a full-time employee. So find out when your audience is the most active and post at those times. Now, there are different ways to find out when your audience is most active. Number 1 is to use a tool like I do and let them do the work for you. I use the tool that I use for scheduling as well, which is Later. Later provides me with a chart of every day of the week and all the different times, and then it will kind of tell me the numbers of people from my audience that are online at the different times. So I just make sure to post slightly before most people are active, so they will be more likely to see my post. Option number 2 is to DIY it. You can simply test different times and different days and see what works best. However, if you do that, keep in mind that you're going to be posting different content every single time. So it could also just be that your post was generally more popular and it wasn't the time that you posted it. There are many things to take into consideration if you want to do this on your own, which is why I'm really happy that Later actually includes this feature. One thing is for sure though, the best time to post amazing content is when your people are online. So the main thing I want you to understand here. 1, it all depends on your audience. The times, the content, everything. It has to speak to your target audience. And number 2, don't overcomplicate things. Numbers can be quite helpful if you want to figure out which types of content perform best, but the desire to get likes and comments on your post should never be your main focus. Instead, focus on being an incredibly helpful source to all your followers that you already have. Dive deep into their needs, their fears, and their desires. Focus on making their life better and detach yourself from the desire to always want more and more and more people in your community. To make this easier, ask yourself, what feels better to me? What makes me more happy? Getting one heartfelt message from someone in my community that tells me that really my content is changing their lives and they're loving every single bit of it? Or is it gonna make me more happy to get 200 additional followers? I'm pretty sure you know your answer. All right, there you have it. I hope this gave you some sort of a relief and a change your perspective on numbers on Instagram. If you want to improve your general Instagram content creation routine, be sure to check out my other video, which is my content creation routine. It will teach you how to save time and still create amazing content. You are amazing and powerful. I believe in you. And I'll see you next week.